Welcome to the ultimate tour of the Margaritaville at Sea Islander. In this video, we're going to be taking you from the bottom to the top, from the front to the back, and everywhere in between to show you everything that Margaritaville's newest cruise ship has to offer.
And by the way, we're Jamie and Skylar, and we just spent 5 nights cruising on Margaritaville's largest and nearly completely refurbished cruise ship, which features 3 pools, 13 uniquely themed bars and lounges, a 14-story atrium, and easily the most laid-back island vibes we've ever experienced on a cruise ship. And while Margaritaville brings a completely unique style to cruising, we found the Islander to also have a completely unique layout compared to the other ships we've toured on this channel. So be sure to watch through to the end to find out if this ship is the right fit for your next cruise.
Deck 8 is the lowest level we can access, but you're not going to find much other than the medical facility down there. So we are starting here on Deck 1, right at the Coral Reef Lounge. Now in here you'll find a bar and a variety of activities throughout your cruise, including game shows and karaoke.
I need to see a man barking like an angry dog.
So we decided to stop by the Coral Reef Lounge tonight because we heard there was karaoke going on, but apparently we stopped by a little bit too early and there's actually some sort of adult scavenger hunt going on. Now we decided to grab a couple drinks and stick around to see what it's all about, and it's actually quite entertaining and the drinks were pretty good too.
You can access this lounge from Deck 2 via this spiral staircase. We're heading to 2 next, so we'll see you there. Right next to the Coral Reef Lounge is the lowest level of the Stars on the Water Theater. Now you can access this theater on decks 2, 3, and 4. As you can see right now, it is closed for rehearsals, but we did catch a show here and we also met here for our excursion, so we'll show you that footage now.
During our cruise on the Islander, the most talked about show on the ship was easily Conky Tonkin at Sea, and since we'd never seen a country performance on a cruise ship before, we decided we better not miss it. We showed up just as the show was starting and found there to be standing room only, and it didn't take long for us to realize why this show was so popular, as the theater was beautiful and the performances were full of energy, blending talented vocalists and dancers with acrobatics and even a live band.
So we just left the Honky Tonk show in the theater, and that was the very first country show we have seen on a cruise ship. I thought they did a really good job with it, and I absolutely loved it. And this was the first show that Skylar stayed through the entire thing without complaining, so I think he liked it too.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Now before we show you the rest of what can be found on Deck 2, we've got to give a quick thank you to Margaritaville at Sea for hosting us on the Islander while we film this tour. If you're interested in booking your own cruise on the Islander out of Tampa, then go ahead and visit margaritavilleatsea.com at the end of this video.
As you can see, Deck 2 offers way more beyond just the theater. Next to the theater, you'll find the Far Out, which is the place for teens on this ship ages 13 to 17. In there, we found a pool table as well as some video games. Now, across from that is the Far Side of the World Lounge, and so far, that is one of our favorite bars on this ship. Currently, they are hosting trivia.
So our first bar stop here on the Islander is the Far Side of the World, which is a Pacific-themed bar. And of course, our first drinks on a Margaritaville cruise have to be margaritas. Now, even if you're not a drinker, you can still get a non-alcoholic margarita. Jimmy will tell you about that in a bit, but first I'm gonna try my Far Side margarita. Yeah, so it's really smooth. I think they put ouzo in that, which is definitely not something you find in a typical margarita, but I do like it quite a bit.
I really love the themed menus here. I was also happy to find that they make a margarita with 0 proof tequila, which I've never tried before. Now, it doesn't taste like your typical margarita, but it is light and refreshing, so I think I'll be having a few of these this week. In addition to Pacific-inspired cocktails, this is also the place where you can order 2 of my favorite things, which are sushi and boba tea. Now for our second trip to the bar, both of us got drinks with lychee. Skylar got the lychee Collins and I got the lychee tea with lychee boba. Now this straw unfortunately isn't big enough for the bobas to fit through, but the good thing about it is vanilla flavored and it's edible.
Now this lychee Collins is really light and refreshing. It's definitely my type of drink and I'd probably be drinking a lot of them if there weren't so many other drinks on this ship that I'm excited to try.
Now, as much as we enjoyed the drinks and entertainment at the Far Side of the World, our favorite experience at this location had to be the sushi. And while the Duval Street roll was a $10 upcharge, we both agreed that it was money well spent, as this was one of the best sushi rolls we've had on a cruise ship.
Across from the far side is the arcade, which has a ton of video games and by far the most claw machines we've ever seen on a cruise ship. Across from the arcade is a set of stairs that lead you up to the sports bar, but we're going to wait to show you that when we get to deck 3. Beyond the far side is the casino. We thought it had a good variety of slots and table games, but we didn't spend any time gambling here, but we did spend time at the casino bar.
So we stopped by the Love and Luck Casino Bar to grab a couple of cocktails, but honestly, we don't spend too much time at casino bars normally because we're not big gamblers and sometimes they're smoky. But we did know that this casino bar would have their own special cocktail menu just like every other bar on this ship. So we both grabbed a couple of cocktails. They're both really good. There's no smoke here and they're playing really chill music as well, which we love.
Down the hall from the casino is the flip-flop atrium where we have a bunch of stuff to show you. At the center of the atrium is where you're going to find the signature Margaritaville blown-out flip-flop sculpture, as well as the flip-flop bar, which features tropical-inspired cocktails, as well as live music.
Those of you who watch some of our other cruise videos already know that I'm always looking for a good dirty martini on a cruise ship, but the bar here, the flip-flop bar on the Islander, actually has something called a Mexican martini. It's basically a dirty martini, but with Patron tequila instead of vodka, and also with some pepper stuffed olives, which give it just a little bit of spice, and honestly, it's amazing. While they do have a seemingly endless amount of cocktail options on the menus between all the bars on this ship, they will make custom orders as well. This is a frozen rum, grapefruit, and pina colada mix drink. Definitely not on the menu, but it is delicious.
Now, before we leave the atrium, there are a few things we want to point out. This is also where you're going to find the guest services desk and the shore excursions desk. And also, this atrium opens up to the very top of the ship. So we'd recommend hopping on the glass elevators and riding them all the way up so you can see the margarita glass chandeliers and the mural on the atrium walls. Just beyond the atrium is the Hemisphere Dancer Bar, which we have spent a ton of time at during this cruise. Now, from our experience and from talking to some of the bartenders on this ship, this is where you're going to find some of the best quality and most unique cocktails on the Islander.
If you're into craft cocktails, the Hemisphere Dancer Bar is definitely the spot for you. They had a really impressive cocktail list with some ingredients I haven't seen at any other bar on the ship. They also had some really talented musicians known as the Diamond Duo playing tonight, and they're located right next to the main dining room, making it a great spot to stop by either before or after dinner.
Now, while we show you a few shots of the many amazing cocktails we enjoyed at the Hemisphere Dancer Bar, we have to mention that this ended up being our favorite spot on the ship for live music as well, as the Diamond Duo later added a couple additional members to form this band, who did a pretty awesome version of Sweet Home Alabama. And speaking of those cocktails, we honestly weren't able to find one at this bar that we didn't like, but Skylar's favorite was easily the Mile High, which looked amazing, tasted even better, and was his favorite drink of the entire cruise.
At the back of the Hemisphere is the entrance to Pearl's Dining, which is a part of the main dining room, but it's sometimes blocked off for special events. Next to the Hemisphere is the Hot nightclub. It is open late and it is 18 up. It is the place if you want to dance the night away on a light-up dance floor. The main entrance to this nightclub is on deck 2, but it does span 2 decks. Once you come down this spiral staircase, you can access this light-up dance floor. We're going to show you what it looks like at night right now.
Since we didn't make it to the dance club until the very last night of our cruise, when everyone had to be up early the next morning, it wasn't too busy. But I do have to say that this dance floor was easily the most impressive one we've seen on a cruise ship.
At the very back of the ship is Finn's, which is the main complimentary dining room on the Islander.
So we're here at Finn's, which is the main complimentary dining room here on the Islander, and our first impression is that it's really casual compared to the complimentary dining rooms on most cruise ships. I'm a pretty casual guy, so I'm really enjoying it. I was even able to wear my flip-flops to dinner.
Now, in addition to dinner, guests on the Islander are also able to enjoy breakfast at Finn's in the morning, where we found more casual vibes, some great food, and lots of open seating with some fantastic views.
We decided to eat our first breakfast here in the Islander at Finn's, which is the sit-down dining room that's open for breakfast and dinner, but not lunch. I gotta say, breakfast is off to a really good start. The coffee was strong. They have a few different juices to choose from, including this passion fruit guava juice, and we got seated right by a window.
We did only eat in the main dining room for breakfast once on our cruise, but that meal did include one of our favorite breakfast items on the ship, this Eggs Benedict. We also found the French toast and egg to be quite good, but it was at dinner where we had the majority of our best food at Finn's, and we'll tell you a little more about that right now.
For our appetizers, we are trying the croquettes, the watermelon and feta salad, and also the flatbread. We did confirm that you are able to order multiple appetizers that are complimentary, but if you want to order a second entree, then that will cost you an extra $7.
Now, before we tell you about the rest of our first dinner on the Islander, we've got to give a shout out to our server Udana, who provided us with great service and even better recommendations throughout our cruise.
Now, our waiter recommended the croquette, and gosh, it is amazing. It is crunchy on the outside, it is soft on the inside, and the sauce that goes with it just really complements it. So for dinner, we tried the pork tenderloin and the shrimp dish. Now, the pork tenderloin was recommended by our waiter, and it was super tender. The shrimp was cooked in a paprika sauce, and the noodles had a lemon sauce. I wasn't sure how the two flavors would mix, but I ended up really liking it.
Now, to be honest, I don't think either of us were super excited about the dinner menu when we first saw it. It didn't have the prime rib on it that you often see on the first night of other cruises, but everything we got was really good. I even enjoyed that chocolate cake that Jamie got for dessert, which I did not think I would like, but I gotta say my favorite thing had to be those croquettes. Those things were amazing.
Now, while we could easily go on and on about all the meals we enjoyed at Finn's, we still got a whole lot more of the ship to show you. But if you are interested in hearing about some more of our favorite dishes, including some of our all-time favorite cruise ship desserts, be sure to tune into the second episode of our Margaritaville Islander series after this one.
The inside of this is so creamy. It's almost like it's a half-baked cake, but I know it's not. It is delicious. The second level of the dining room is the Islander. Now, you do have to pay a bit of an upcharge to eat here, but it offers a fancier setting and premium menu items.
While we show you around the slightly more elegant Islander dining room, we should mention that we were content dining a deck below at Finn's, although we did almost dine at the Islander on the night which they offered prime rib.
Before we leave the back of Deck 3, we do want to point out that you can walk around the ship on this deck. This is also where we met for our muster drill, and today it's offering gorgeous views of the water.
While we take a minute to soak up some of these beautiful Deck 3 views, we do want to invite you to subscribe to Explorcation and turn the notifications on to be sure you won't miss our future Margaritaville at Sea and other Florida and Caribbean travel content.
Now, the rest of Deck 3 still has a lot going on. Next to the Islander is the conference room and the Bubbles Up Lounge.
Now, if you're on the Islander for a conference, then you'll probably be spending some time in here, but we'd much rather be right next door enjoying a drink and some music at Bubbles Up.
Now, you may have already guessed it, but the Bubbles Up Lounge is full of bubbles decor and specializes in champagne cocktails. Now, during our cruise, the Bubbles Up bar did have a violinist and a pianist that we both enjoyed. Now, even if you don't like champagne drinks, we would recommend stopping by this bar so you can try the most unique margarita on the ship. Just past the Bubbles Up Lounge, the ship opens back up into the atrium, and on this side, you'll find the photo center. Now, this is the place you're going to want to visit if you want to check out all the photos you've taken around the ship or in ports. This is also a good spot if you want to overlook the atrium area to see all the activities. Right now, they have a cornhole tournament going on.
It was here in the third deck atrium area that we also stopped by to view the captain's party, which was taking place one floor below. And as you may expect from a Margaritaville cruise, this captain's party was a bit more casual and a lot more fun than your typical one.
We're having a memorable cruise. Cheers!
Another good reason to visit the Deck 3 atrium area is to check out the Margaritaville at Sea Islander cruise ship replica, which we actually found to be pretty helpful in getting acclimated with the ship.
On the other side of the atrium is where you can find the concierge lobby, as well as the future cruise desk where you can book your next sailing on Margaritaville at sea. Now, something that is different about this ship when compared to the newer ships we've sailed on recently is that it does not have a map of the ship outside of all of the elevators. So remember to look up above the doorways because that is going to help you navigate around the ship. Now, if you want to do some shopping on your cruise, then the hall beyond the atrium on deck 3 is where you can do it.
While we show you a little bit of what you can find in the retail shops, we want to hear from you. Have you booked a cruise on the Islander? Are considering booking a cruise on the Islander? Or are you just tuning in for the fun of it? Let us know in the comments. And if you do have a cruise on the Islander planned, be sure to let us know what you're most excited about so far. Now, whether it's candy, clothing, toiletries, jewelry, or liquor that's on your shopping list, the retail shops will likely have what you're looking for. But we've still got more of Deck 3 to show you towards the front of the ship.
Now, if you're less into shopping and more into having some drinks and watching some sports, then we have the place for you just beyond the shops.
So Havana Daydreamin' is advertised as a sports bar, and they do have some sports playing on the TVs here, but it's definitely not your traditional sports bar. It's Cuban themed and has a bunch of Cuban inspired cocktails. I ended up ordering the Cubanito, which is basically a Bloody Mary, but with rum instead of vodka. I wasn't sure if I'd like it, but I actually love it. It gives it just a little bit of sweetness that you don't have in a normal Bloody Mary, and I think I just might be making my Bloody Marys with rum from now on.
And in addition to its chill Cuban vibes and fantastic rum drinks, we found Havana Daydreamin' to be yet another great spot on the Islander to enjoy some live music and to get your salsa on.
Through this hallway is the staircase down to the far out bar. Now, at the very back of the sports bar is another area for kids. On the other side of the sports bar, you'll find the entrance to the theater on deck 3, and next to that is the A1A promenade. Now, if you're looking for a quiet spot on the ship with great views of the water, then you're going to want to stop by the A1A promenade. At the very end of A1A, you'll come to a staircase which leads up to the gym. Now, this has to be the most unusual way to access a fitness center on a cruise ship that we've ever experienced, but we're going to show it to you anyway.
While this was definitely the smallest gym we've experienced on a cruise ship, the equipment was very modern and included bikes, treadmills, row machines, and resistance weight machines.
Now, we do want to mention that the fitness center can also be accessed from the forward stairwell, but the rest of this floor consists of staterooms, so we are going to head up to deck 5. Now, like deck 4, deck 5 is primarily staterooms, but it does have 2 more kids club areas, the Jollymon and the Parakeets. Now, there are kids in both of them today, so we're not going to be able to show you inside, but it sounds like they're having a lot of fun, and the Parakeets are getting their faces painted today. The next 3 decks are staterooms only, including ours on deck 8. Now, we're going to give you a tour of that, which we filmed on the first day. Welcome to room 8209 on the Islander, a balcony stateroom on the 8th deck. This room has all the bright, tropical island vibes that you would expect from Margaritaville, but you do have to keep in mind that this ship was built almost 25 years ago, so there is going to be a mix of original and modern features. Now, because this is an older ship, they don't have any buttons to communicate with your room steward, so you will need to use this if you want your privacy or if you want your room serviced. As soon as you enter this room, the bathroom is to my left, but first we're going to show you the closets across the hall. So these first 2 closets have 5 hangers each and plenty of space for large luggage and a whole lot more. And in this 3rd closet is where you'll find your life jackets, the safe, a shelf, and a place to put all your shoes. Now, on the inside of the closet door is where you'll find the full-length mirror. Now let's go check out the bathroom. Now, we're not going to tell you this is the most modern cruise ship bathroom we've ever been in, but it does continue with the colors of the rest of the room, and it feels really beachy. Plus, there's a decent amount of shelves for toiletries, towel hooks behind the door, a drying line, a handheld shower, and the signature Saint Somewhere shampoo, conditioner, and body wash. In the main living area to my left, you'll find a sofa sleeper, and it looks brand new. Across from the sofa is a modern feature that I really love, which is a motion sensor light up mirror. Now underneath this mirror is where you'll find a desk and plenty of drawers. Now this very top one has the hair dryer, which I'm assuming is the original, but it does work. Now under the desk is a padded seat, and next to that is the mini fridge. So our mini fridge was empty when we arrived, so we're using it to cool down our Gatorades that we got from the bar. At the end of this very long desk, you'll find a shallow cabinet, a shelf for your ice bucket and water, and your TV. Across from the TV is the king-size bed, where I do have to point out a unique feature to Margaritaville cruises. On this comforter, you will find parrots. Now on either side of the bed, there are nightstands with cubbies and lamps with USB-A and C ports. We absolutely love this modern feature because we are always having to charge devices, and the desk only has one international plug and one US plug. Now if you're like us and need to charge several devices, we would recommend bringing an international adapter so you can use that international port. We'll leave a link to the one that we like to use in the video description. Now we have one more thing to show you, and that is the balcony, so let's go check out the view. Today we have a view of downtown Tampa because we haven't left the port yet, but we are really looking forward to sitting out here and enjoying the ocean views once we sail away. Now let's get back to the tour. Up on deck 9 is where you're going to find a variety of places to eat, the pools, and outdoor bars. But we are starting at the very front of the ship, which is where you'll find the St. Somewhere Spa. On one side of the ship is the salon, on the other are the treatment rooms for the spa. Just past the spa is the Landshark Pool and Bar. The Landshark Pool is the first of 3 pools, and it has a jacuzzi attached to it. Now it's always open air and kids and adults are welcome. The Landshark Bar is right next to the Landshark Pool. It offers tropical cocktails as well as beer and seltzers.
We should mention that in addition to alcoholic drinks priced up to $20, Margaritaville at Sea's Ultimate Beverage Chill Package does also include a variety of non-alcoholic beverages such as Gatorade. To see what we thought about Margaritaville at Sea's drink package and a whole lot more, don't forget to tune in to the second episode of our Islander series after this one.
On the other side of the Landshark Bar is the 5 o'clock Somewhere Bar, which specializes in boat drinks, margaritas, shooters, beer, and wine.
I ordered the frozen banana breeze, but without the chocolate, and it tastes fantastic, especially on a ridiculously hot and humid day like today.
Next to the bar is the 5 o'clock Somewhere Pool, which also has a jacuzzi. Now, adults and kids are welcome in this pool. This pool does have a retractable roof, so if you are going through some bad weather, it can be covered. You'll also find a stage out here for live music and events. Behind the stage, you'll find a couple spots to eat. Cheeseburger in Paradise offers burgers and fries from noon to 6. Mexican Cutie Cantina is open for breakfast and lunch. Now, both of those do also have soft-serve ice cream machines next to them. We did eat at both of these spots during our cruise, so we'll show you those experiences now. For our first meal here on the Islander, we went with made-to-order tacos from Mexican Cutie Cantina, as well as some desserts from the buffet.
I am a salsa lover, so I was really excited to find that they have several different types of salsa to choose from, and this one is the hottest one. Now that sauce is legitimately hot and it's delicious. Now we should also mention that you can get your tacos with 3 different types of meat: chicken, pork, and beef. We've tried all 3, and we gotta say the pork is where it's at.
I was happy to find that they had the pickled red onions to put on the tacos. Now I'm even more excited to try these desserts. I like the cream cheese frosting in that one. The key lime is nice and fluffy. I think you're gonna like it.
So I can definitely see why Jamie likes the cakes, because they are like 70% frosting. But those of you who follow our channel know that I love anything key lime, so I'm really excited to try the key lime cake. That is really good. The key lime flavor isn't that strong, but it's super light and fluffy, and the frosting is really good, not overly sweet.
Now we gotta let you know that in addition to delicious tacos, the cantina also offers bowls during the day and breakfast burritos and sandwiches in the morning. But for now, we're gonna head next door to grab some burgers. Now, as we expected, Cheeseburger in Paradise was definitely a step up from your average cruise ship burger, as the meat was tender and always fresh off the grill, and the options for toppings were plentiful.
We went with 2 single cheeseburger patties. We got everything on them, including Islander sauce, and Skylar added mushrooms. Now that's a pretty good burger. I like the soft bun on top and the fact that you can get them every day from noon to 6.
Yeah, that is a solid burger. The bun is soft, the toppings seem to be really fresh, and I don't know what they put in that Islander sauce, but it is fantastic.
Beyond the burger and pizza joints is the Port of Indecision buffet, which also includes the pizzeria and the coffee shop. The buffet is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We ate here several times during our stay. Now we're going to show you those experiences now.
Because Finn's was only open for breakfast and dinner, we spent the most time eating at the buffet for lunch, which generally had 3 stations open, each with the same offerings which changed daily, but always included a chicken, beef, pork, and seafood option, as well as a variety of salads, fruits, soups, breads, and of course, desserts.
With all of the great complimentary made-to-order options on the Islander, we knew we wouldn't be spending too much time at the buffet, but we're kind of in a rush today to get off the ship for an excursion, so we decided to stop by for a quick bite, and we both agreed that our favorite thing was the pumpkin soup, so if you see that soup on the buffet when you're on the Islander, make sure to give it a try.
Now, in addition to the amazing soup, a few of our other favorites from the lunch and dinner buffets included the teriyaki chicken, the Indian sag, the flat iron steak, the pumpkin and okra stew, the fried catfish, and the jambalaya. And I gotta once again mention those buffet cakes, which are some of the best cakes I've ever had on a cruise ship.
Now, similar to the lunch and dinner buffets, the amount of items you're going to find on the breakfast buffet is a little bit limited compared to your larger cruise ships, but the quality is good, and you'll find all your staples like sausage, scrambled eggs, French toast, waffles, and I think our favorite things from breakfast were the biscuits and gravy and the sausage. Now, the great thing about breakfast on the Islander is that you do also have an omelet station. At Mexican Cutie, they offer breakfast burritos and breakfast sandwiches, and you have additional breakfast items available at the coffee shop for an extra charge.
And speaking of the coffee shop, we'll take you there in a bit, but first, we've got a couple other things to show you.
In the middle of the buffet, you'll find this staircase. It leads up to the JWB Grill, which is an extra charge restaurant. You can also access this restaurant from the sides of the ship, but this staircase gives a very good view of the suspended airplane. At the back of the buffet is the pizza shop and the coffee shop. We'll show you those next. Frank and Lola's is the complimentary made-to-order pizza shop. Now, I think it's open late until about 2 a.m.
So after walking around for a couple hours on Key West, we built up an appetite again, so we stopped by Frank and Lola's for our second lunch of the day. We ordered 4 cheese and mushroom pizza. It looks amazing. I can't wait to try it. That is fantastic. It definitely ranks up there with the best cruise ship pizza we've had.
The 4 cheese pizza comes with a garlic sauce, but you can also get a red sauce. Yeah, that is really good pizza, and I would recommend coming to Frank and Lola's. The Margaritaville Coffee Shop offers specialty lattes, desserts, and sandwiches throughout the day. Now, everything here is an extra charge, but if you've been following our channel for a while, then you already know we had to give their coffee a try anyways. I went with an iced latte today because it is so hot outside. I didn't get any flavoring in it because I want to save my sugar intake for all the delicious desserts on this ship. I would say for a cruise ship specialty coffee shop, it's very strong and I like it. This morning we skipped the buffet to try the breakfast at the coffee shop. They offer avocado toast and a couple breakfast sandwiches for $4 or $5. All the options are huge, and based off of our experience with the avocado toast, we think it's worth the upcharge.
Now I gotta add that the desserts at the coffee shop looked absolutely phenomenal, and they were always our backup plan if we didn't find a dessert we liked on the menu at dinner. But since the desserts at dinner were mostly fantastic, we never did end up buying one from the coffee shop.
At the very back of the ship is where you're going to find the adults only area. There's another pool and hot tub there, as well as the tiki bar, and plenty of space for lounging.
The Tiki Bar is located within the adults only area next to the buffet. They have a really good variety of tiki cocktails and also one of my favorite seltzers, Topo Chico.
There's a lot to like about this adults only area, but I think my favorite is that statue is holding up a margarita. Within the adults only area, you can find Tiki Grill and Island Eats, where for an additional charge, you can order things like chicken wings, lobster rolls, and even crab legs. Next, we're heading up the deck to show you what else you can find on the back of the ship. Now, you won't find much on the back of Deck 10 except for the bottom of the water slide and a bunch of loungers, so we're going to head up to Deck 11. Up on Deck 11 is the entrance to the water slide and the kids' play area.
Here we go.
Now that slide was a little bit interesting as we had very different experiences. I went down it pretty slow, whereas Skylar absolutely flew through it. But we both agreed that it was a lot of fun. I really liked that it had colors on the inside of the slide. And we do want to mention that on this cruise, there aren't that many kids, so we had it all to ourselves.
While you won't find a whole lot else way up on Deck 11, you will find the Caribbean Amphibian Playpad and Slide, which during a scorching sea day on a ship without many kids wasn't too busy, but did look pretty fun. If you head further towards the front of Deck 11, you will find a stairwell that goes one more deck up, and while you won't find much here other than a bunch of loungers, we did find this to be one of the best spots on the ship for sail away under the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. Now this was our third time cruising out of Tampa and sailing under this magnificent bridge, and I do gotta say that at least for me, watching the top of the ship seemingly barely clear the bridge never gets much less scary, but it definitely does make cruising out of Tampa one of the more exciting sailaways, and the experience is always one of the highlights of our Tampa-based cruises. Since there's not much more to see on Deck 12 or the back half of Deck 11, we're going to take you back down to Deck 10 midship, where in addition to finding a stairwell that leads down to Cheeseburger in Paradise and some great views of all the action down on Deck 9 below, you'll also find another of our favorite spots on the ship, the Landshark Lookout Bar. Like nearly every other bar on this ship, we found the Landshark Lookout to have their own special drink menu with a good selection of tropical cocktails to choose from, but unlike each of the other bars on this ship, this one offers some epic views, both from here on Deck 10 and one floor up on Deck 11.
We are up here at the Landshark Lookout. Now during our cruise, the bar had limited hours, but you could still come up here even when the bar wasn't open to take in some amazing views of the ship and the water. Back down on Deck 10 near the front of the ship is where you'll find a smoking area and more staterooms. So we're going to be heading up to Deck 11. You're definitely going to want to check out the Dis and Dat activity zone because not only does it have a pickleball court and a themed mini golf course, but also a cornhole course, which I'm pretty sure is unique to Margaritaville. Now, as we've been touring around this ship, you've probably noticed that it has a lot of unique features that you likely won't find on other cruise ships. Now, during our cruise on the Islander, there were a lot of things that surprised us, including how they do drinks and dining. And we'll be covering those topics and much more in part 2 of this series, which you can watch by clicking here right now. Thanks for watching.